Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to highlight some great PC game deals from our friends over at Fanatical, and I will be highlighting some of their GOG offerings as well. Since they've got GOG games, they've got them a bit discounted. Fanatical's a great spot to buy your games. GOG's a great spot to have your games, so I thought I would mention them as well. But a lot to go over, so let's just get right into it. And I want to kick things off with the Build Your Own Resident Evil bundle, the Demonic Edition. Each game is $6.50. The more you buy, the more you save. If you buy 4 items, you do get them for $6.25 a pop. We're just gonna assume you only get 2. So I've covered this bundle quite a lot. I feel like it's relevant to go over given that we do have the upcoming release of Resident Evil Requiem. If you want to catch up on some of the Resident Evil titles, unfortunately, 4 Remake is not a part of this bundle. You know, they're still valuing 4 Remake a little bit. I would have to suspect that the 4 Remake is going to be included in the humble Resident Evil Summer bundle that'll probably be happening later this year. But you know what? It'll probably be the standard edition and people will be upset it's not the gold edition. And then they'll do the gold edition next year. Since I've been following this stuff for a while, I kind of know how these things go. But if you're just looking to pick up individual games or a couple titles, this is a great bundle where you can get Resident Evil 6 Complete and Resident Evil 7 Biohazard as a double pack. That's only one title, so you get both those for $6.50. Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4 and 5 is a double pack, so you get both those. Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2, that's another double pack, and that's a damn good double pack. That might be the best, from a value standpoint, the best pickup. Revelations 2 is low-key super underrated. Like, I talk about Revelations 1 being underrated a lot. Revelations 2 isn't, like, amazing, but for $3 and change, essentially, it's a pretty darn good deal. So I would definitely recommend that. And they've got some non-Resident Evil games as well. Devil May Cry 5, Devil May Cry HD Collection, Dead Rising 1 and 2, that's a double pack, Dead Rising 2 and Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, that's a double pack right there. DMC 4 Special Edition, Dead Rising 3, DMC Devil May Cry, and Dead Rising 4 all included as a part of this bundle as options. So some great stuff there. Got a couple days left on that, so jump on that as soon as possible. Speaking of Resident Evil, since we're on the topic, these are all GOG offerings, but all of the classic Resident Evils, the original versions, Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3 as GOG copies preserved on GOG are available on Fanatical. $4.69 a pop on these if you want the throwback experiences. Obviously, if you're a newcomer to Resident Evil, I would recommend the Resident Evil 2 Remake to play. These are going to be a little bit dated. I mean, they're PlayStation 1 games, so just keep your expectations in line, but they are absolute classics. I didn't grow up playing Resident Evil 2, to be fair, the original game. My first Resident Evil was Resident Evil 4. Then I got really into Resident Evil 4 on the PS2 and then Nintendo Wii, but yeah, for a lot of people, these are games that they're very nostalgic with, and you can check them out. You can have them on GOG. I know there's been a lot of buzz on picking up, your games on GOG, so Fanatical having them, I think, is a great move, and I would love if Fanatical picked up other GOG titles. I'm sure it's a case-by-case basis. They got to work with the publishers and whatnot, but yeah, great to see them have GOG offerings. And then, since we're on the topic of GOG, Breath of Fire 4, while it's not the star deal, it is still available for $4.69, which I think is a great deal for a classic JRPG. This is a JRPG franchise that a lot of people want to see Capcom bring back. Maybe they'll go back to it. I mean, for the longest time, I would have never expected Okami to actually come back, and Okami is coming back, Mega Man's coming back, all these IPs are coming back, Onimusha's coming back, shout out to Onimusha. Breath of Fire, is one of the more niche ones. I don't know if that's gonna come out, but Onimusha was pretty niche as well, so what are we talking about here? But Breath of Fire 4, $4.69 on that GOG copy there. We'll wrap up this video with a couple of Steam deals. HELLDIVERS 2 is 30% off for $28. Yes, some of you guys might be like, brother, this game came out 2 years ago. Why is it $28? It's gonna be one of those games that holds up in price. Like, that's just the reality of some games. They're gonna hold up in price for eons and eons, especially if it's a sought-after game. Look at Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 still goes for a pretty penny, and that game came out 2.5 years ago. This came out 2 years ago this month, HELLDIVERS 2 that is, and it's a phenomenal co-op title. I think this is one of the best co-op titles that I've ever played, honestly. In terms of the pure fun factor aspect, HELLDIVERS 2 just had it in spades. I was super into it at launch. With the live service games, if you guys know how I roll, generally speaking these days, I'll play them for you know, maybe 6 weeks, and then I move on with my life. It's just, there's too many games coming out. I try to cover everything coming out. I can't spend, you know, hundreds and hundreds of hours and see how games are evolving. You know, I'll go back to certain games at times, but it's not like I'm perpetually playing them year round. So it is what it is. But there you go. Nioh 3 is 12% off. Game just came out, and game is crushing it from the Steam stats standpoint, and the game's PC version is quite good as well. So I would definitely recommend it. Very positive reception on Steam right now, 80% positive, which honestly for a Tecmo Koei game is great. I saw it was peaking at around 70,000 concurrent players, which would shatter the Nioh 2 and Nioh 1 records, although those games I believe were released on a delay on PC, so keep that in mind. But $61.59 on that. Tecmo Koei did send me a copy of the game. I'm going through it right now, and I am very much enjoying it. You know, Souls-like games aren't my cup of tea. I get absolutely obliterated in these games, but Nioh's a good time. Love the ambiance, love the aesthetic, and for me, that's a lot of the times what draws me into these Souls-like titles. So, yeah, $61.59 on that. And then a couple of super cheap titles I thought I would mention. Metro, the Redux bundle, is $4.49. Getting Metro 2033 and Last Light on the cheap. I think this is a great bundle for some great atmospheric first-person shooters, and I've been recommending Metro for eons and eons, and Last Light was one of the very first games I played on my PC to really showcase what PC gaming could do on like a higher-end PC back in the day. Obviously, it's not difficult to run by today's standards, but yeah, it's a great game. I definitely would recommend you guys to check out Metro 2033, and Last Light, just great atmosphere-driven first-person shooters, not super lengthy, but sometimes all you need is an 8 to 10 hour campaign, a narrative-driven campaign, and remember, back in the day when this game came out, it was a little bit ballsy because we were getting a lot of multiplayer shooters. That's what was in at the time, and Metro went the route of doing just a single-player oriented, narrative-driven first-person shooter, and I thought it was really well done. So definitely recommend that. And then Red Faction Guerrilla Re-Mars-tered Edition is $3.99. As much as I hate the title of Re-Mars-tered Edition, I think that's a terrible title. This game's awesome. If you want like that Just Cause-esque, no-nonsense, crazy open-world gameplay with tons of chaos and explosions, Red Faction is going to give you that. You know, it's not going to give you a super compelling narrative. Although, I remember when I was a kid, like I played this game in 2009, your boy was like 13 years old, and I thought this game's story was like awesome back in the day. I'm like, oh my god, this revenge story. I believe his name was like Alec Mason, and yeah, I just remember getting super into the story. But then in retrospect, it's like, all right, bro, the story was pretty generic, but yeah, from an open world standpoint and explosion standpoint, this game was crazy. Explosion standpoint, I don't even know what that means, but you can do some crazy explosions in this game is what I'm getting at, and it's a lot of fun. So $3.99 on that, definitely a worthwhile pickup there. And that's gonna do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals available right now over at Fanatica. Links to all of these in the description box below. Check them out for yourself. If you do buy anything, I get an affiliate kickback, which is much appreciated. That'll do it for me, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.